morning, good afternoon, or good night, my fellow Chiebits. Today, I'm here to bring all of you the monthly manga review of Akame ga Kill. So, this time, this chapter, we get to see Akame versus Wave. And what can I say? The fight was somewhat one-sided, but it was actually really fucking good. I have to admit that the fight was pretty good because of the inner monologues. So before we even get into that, let's, break down what the first part of this fight was about. So this chapter is pretty straight to the point. It is Akame versus Wave and setting up the fight between Kuromi and Akame later on down the road. And as we all know, if you watch the anime, we saw how that fight went. So judging by how kind of the anime spoiled some aspects of the manga, I'm actually liking how the setup is being done with this chapter, because it adds more clarification to the sisters and the relationship and why they want to kill each other. It finally clarifies why they want to do this. And so when it comes to this chapter, I actually fully appreciate this chapter just because it finally gives a little bit more insight that the anime never did, and now I can kind of understand why the fight's probably going to go where it's going, unless the mangaka decides to change it up a little bit. And one thing I want to mention is that, as we know, we're in the final arc of Akame ga Kill. That was announced like months ago, and it's so strange if you think about it, because, I mean, seeing these certain events happen is kind of how the anime went, and just to see it like that, I'm like, man, this series is going to end very soon, give or take about maybe 1 year at the maximum, and the series is done. I mean, 1 year sounds like a long time, but in terms of chapter-wise, it's not much at all. So, yeah, it's kind of surprising. But back on topic to the fight. So, the beginning part of the chapter, we get to see the Prime Minister. He's getting upset because, his lackeys and stuff are being hunted down and killed by, the rebels, and he's getting pretty freaking salty about that, which leads into the next part of the chapter with the fight between Wave and Akame. And majority of this fight, at first, it looks like Wave kind of has the upper hand because his armor can't be pierced by Akame's Tegu. And it seems like she's kind of fighting a losing battle. That's what it looks like at first. And as the fight progresses on, you see it to where she keeps attacking one spot on his armor to where she will try to chip away the armor piece to where she can actually strike him and kill him. And this is kind of how the entire battle goes towards. For instance, Akame kind of using mind games, psychological warfare to be able to manipulate Wave to where he loses his cool and can't actually counter properly, to where Akame can keep striking the exact same spot to where she can kill him. Which, that's something I want to talk about. The inner monologues is something I was really surprised to see when it comes to this chapter. Like, I know we've had some inner monologues sometimes to Akame ga Kill, but I really appreciated those inner monologues in this chapter, just seeing how, like, from a narrator's perspective, it was saying, like, Akame was striking at his armor, how she was kind of manipulating him to where he lost his cool, and to where he couldn't really strike Akame, because, let's explain. If Wave would have hit Akame, she would have died, because it would have been like a fatal blow. And she doesn't really have any armor, and if, Wave would have hit her with the armor on, that would have been GG right there. So, the reason why Akame was manipulating and trying to mess with his mind was because if she made an error or mistake at all, she's dead. And that goes to show you how one-sided this fight was, but also it goes to show you the battle experience between Akame and Wave. So the chapter, in a nutshell, it was a battle between someone that had great strength and a battle between someone that had a sharper mind and battle experience. That's kind of how this battle was. It was a battle between mind and body. And the ending result of the fight, I think we can all guess, it had it to where Akame kind of won, and we had an entire monologuing speech with Akame revealing why she wants to kill her sister. So let's get into that. The entire backstory to Kuromi and Akame was finally clarified. We come to see that what Kuromi has been taking when it comes to her candy and everything is very deadly poison, and it's killing her slowly. And on top of this, she doesn't have much longer to live, which has kind of already been hinted at and foreshadowed a while now, so we already knew that. But this gives more clarification that the anime never did, so this right here, very nice to see. But as the monologuing continues, you come to find out that Kuromi, she cares deeply for her comrades and people that fought with her on the battlefield, even though she's a part of the capital, and she couldn't really abandon them when Akame came to her and was like, hey, come with me, let's join the rebels, and let's, fight against the Empire. Kurumi didn't want to do that because she was too connected with her subordinates. She did not feel like fighting her own comrades because of, you know, fighting with them and almost dying with them. She didn't want to leave them. So we kind of find out, like, why they have so many differences and why she didn't really want to leave. But also, Kurumi was a drug addict. She was a drug addict that couldn't get off the poison medicine. Even though Akame wanted to, she couldn't get off it. It's like, you know, a drug addict, you know, having withdrawals and seizures and stuff when they're getting off some form of drug. And that's kind of what was happening to Kurumi. She couldn't really leave, and the damage was already said and done, and which led into the circumstance that we now see between Kurumi versus Akame, which we're going to probably see in maybe next month's chapter or the month after that. But I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes down, and I wonder if, well, I want to be honest here, we all kind of know that Kuromi's probably going to die. I think we can all kind of understand that, and if she doesn't die, I will be kind of shocked, and most likely she'll try to be saved at the hot spring. Like, we kind of find out, actually, which threw me off. There is some form of hot spring or somewhere, like a place to where Akame wanted to take her sister and heal her. And supposedly this, like, spring can heal you and, like, keep a disease that's, like, very fatal and can kill you, like, in a couple months, can make it to where you can survive for 5 years. And if that is true, this might add a possibility, just maybe might add a possibility for maybe, you know, Tatsumi getting healed. I mean, he might, you know, be turning into a dragon somewhat. Maybe he might use this spring. Maybe, you know, our little Pumpkin-chan might actually have to use that spring too. Maybe it might heal her in some way. I wonder if that spring might be used for something like that. But for now, the chapter, it kind of leaves off to where Kame runs and so does Wave. They kind of separate and they're setting up for the in-game battle. And that's the chapter of Akame Got Killed this month. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. I like it. It was fun. And it got the point across for what it was trying to do. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. How do y'all feel about this month's chapter of Akame Got Killed? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please be safe. Chibi out.